Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Honkai reaction. Today we have a set from Gabi Hashiwa. Apparently this one is a collection called Helia's Downfall, and I'm not sure exactly what, but apparently there is a bit of a spoiler in the titles of the songs played here, so if you don't want spoilers, don't look at what those are. Otherwise, I don't know anything, so that context is lost on me, as we're all aware. And I'm just going to be utilizing Roka's Terminal's upload of it, that apparently has everything timestamped, but you won't see that on screen. I'm just giving you a fair warning in case there's anybody out there who really doesn't want any spoilers, even if it's not shown on screen or anything, that contextually you might be able to figure out what's going on. Maybe don't do that if you're aware of this set of music. Go check the link in the description first and make sure that things are all hunky-dory for yourself so you don't ruin something for you. But otherwise, that's what I'm going to be listening to today, and without further ado, let's go! Ooh. We're just starting then. Getting right into the meat and potatoes of the emotional bits here. Ooh. That one dissonant hanging note already. We're already so deep into it. We just got here. That consistent repetition on that one note. Just adds a lot of weight. Gives your mind a root to return to. Ooh. Alright, we're shifting a little bit. The panic is starting to set in, I think. The emotional toll got in. But things are starting to get a little too real. I'm already in love with this piano part. It's like a slight string underneath that too. That might be a harpsichord. Kind of just mixed softly in there. Nice for texture. And now things are getting real serious. Oh. Yeah, this is like the clock is running out energy. This is hurry the fuck up energy. Gotta tie in that emotional callback now. Don't forget why you're trying to get things done. Even if it is hectic, remember why you're here. All these beautiful emotional parallels. I love the mixing of the percussion too. It's got a great, like, chesty punch to it. Whew. Ooh, now we got some crack in there. Ooh, synths? Ooh, okay. Oh, wow, beautiful. Love that. Love that little interlude there. Beautiful. So now this is like the boss music section. All that stress came to a head. The slight detuning on that piano too, just further pushing that stress on something being wrong. Love that. Such a minor detail. Very subtle. And there's that interlude again, dude. The cinematic intensity on this one is so palpable. Time for a violin solo. Let's go. Woo. All right, rough transition there, but loved that violin solo. It's like sharing the feeling of the heart. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I hate it when epic music gets big like that. It swells up to something, it stops, and then it's just a solo piano. Somebody died. That's all that ever signifies. There's a body on the floor. I don't like it. Maybe that's what people were saying when they mentioned the spoiler thing. Sorry, I don't know who. But that's all that ever signifies. There's not usually much else that comes from that sort of relationship. Oh. No way. What's happening here then? We're just kind of in the post-lamentation of it all. Coming to terms with what's going on. Maybe they're still passing away in this moment, and this is like the backtrack. Again, I'm so in love with this piano part all the way through. Has been phenomenal, dude. All right, so the context of the song's title, Helia's Downfall, at least the collection here, I know that each section is like an individual track, but just the title of the collection kind of gives me the context clue of something happened that was not cool for Helia's sake. Like, she did not handle whatever this was well. I haven't looked at the titles purely because I wanted to stay out of that. I have avoided looking further into it for the same reason you guys have. I don't want to know the spoiler to it. I don't want to figure out what that is. But for now, I'm just going to kind of try to figure out what's going on here. Largely, this just sounded mostly what I would call an epic boss fight. But it was like, it started somewhere else. Like, it started pre-boss fight. They moved into a boss fight, and then during that boss fight, one of the people died. And then we had to deal with the musical payoff of that, which is where all that swelling happened. It cut off, and then it was just piano. Pretty much across all media ever, and will be forever, has had this relationship of this swell, this buildup, this sort of reach into the abyss and beyond above you. Just to cut that off, that's basically signifying a hero reaching too far. And then when that cutoff happens, that's they reach so far they will never return. There is an end there. There is a firm line in that song. It rises, it hits that moment, it cuts off. Just like the person, their life is over, that moment is done. And now we have to figure out where we want to go with that musically afterwards. So I think the most interesting part of this entire collection is that relationship, purely because you get to hear that moment, that very final strike where then the moment hits the person who realizes, and now they have to process that. And that's what the music afterwards signifies, is that moment and how they're figuring things out in their head. That raw, visceral concept of processing death is very hard for a lot of people to deal with, and musically it can be very difficult to figure out exactly how you want to portray that. There are so many ways to process for every individual person on Earth, and everyone's going to be a little bit different, so you want to be able to make sure that what you're writing makes sense for the character that you're writing for, in case of media like this. So this song, it started very, very sad. Obviously, it's that moment, it hits you like a gut punch and you're just like, oof, okay, well, this is here now. That's happening, and they have to like figure out what to do with that emotion in that moment. That process is so volatile and finite and specific to the person that it's hard for me to know, without knowing the character, what they're feeling in that moment. General sadness is pretty obvious to state, but the emotional outcome after that is always what's different. You can never tell if somebody's going to go further down this depressive spiral, if they're going to stay kind of static and the music kind of follows that. Like, it just kind of hinges on the same note basically all the way to the end of the song, and it just kind of goes, well, I'm still not done processing by the end of the song. Or like this one did, which it kind of ends on a, I need to pick myself back up. I don't want this person to die in vain. I don't want that to be their legacy. I want me to continue on because I know that that's what they would want out of me. And trying to process that through the grief and putting that into music can be very difficult. It's a pretty common option to take because a lot of people want to write their heroes in a way that makes you feel like you want to believe in them and their new beginnings. So when they have a significant psychological pressure like this that happens all in one moment, you have to figure out exactly how aggressive you want to take that message and reflect it on the character, and therefore the audience member, the player, whatever it happens to be. So choosing this for this character is probably very significant for their relationship. When they lost that person, that was the person that they were probably the closest to in their actual life. Like, they're the ones that maybe they trained with, they've been with together for years, maybe childhood friends, could be all the above. And losing that person just guts you, just wrenches you out of reality all at once. That's what that cutoff is. That moment signifies a lot of things, not only the death happening, but also the reaction of the person, like I said earlier. So having that immediate cutoff is kind of their brain clicking in that one moment that everything happened and trying to immediately process it, but there's like a buffer, and you have to let it kind of breathe a little bit for the character to breathe before the song kicks back in and you start to get all of that emotional payoff. And with this one ending on kind of a high note, it's slightly uplifting. It's more of a, I'm not happy, I don't know if I'll ever be the same, but I must continue because I know that that's what this person would want out of me. So that's really the emotional toll for this one. Everything before it was epic and cool, but it was completely overshadowed by that one moment in that latter part of the song. It was probably like, what, the last 2 minutes of the song has so much emotional gravitas that I don't even think the rest of the song matters, because all of that was just preamble crap that was battle, and it sounded cool, it sounded beautiful, loved the piano part, gotta say that again, a lot of the texture in the percussion, so neat, so awesome. But that one moment at the end overshadowed the complete rest of it, everything before it, and saddled you with this emotional grief and process that made everything else before it seem so trivial in comparison. And that is an amazing songwriter. That's an amazing composer. I don't know if it's the same person who composed all these, if it's multiple people. Great teamwork if that is the case, if it is multiple people. But man, they nailed it with that piano piece at the end. I assume because it's so similar in the way it's written, to the very first part of the song that I assume that all these songs are connected by the same composer, but maybe it's just a really good team and they borrowed motifs from each other and decided to work off it and make that happen. Because there were some moments in the end there that sounded a lot like that very first moment, so it's kind of closing this book. It started here, it's ending here, it's definitely different. Obviously, a lot happened in the middle, but we're still kind of beginning and ending the story with very significant sounds and a piano that knew exactly where it wanted to go and was almost, in hindsight, kind of signaling that something was going to happen at the very beginning there. It was a little bit of a foreshadow, and that's really cool. So I'm assuming that this was all composed by the same person, and they did a great job. I almost said phenomenal again, but I've said phenomenal so many times, I'm starting to get tired of it, and you guys might be too. I'm gonna work on some synonyms for that, because I always say it's a phenomenal song, and I feel like that's just getting annoying. But maybe that's just me. Either way, great song, beautiful, beautiful song, and I love the emotional impact this one had. You could say it had a Honkai impact. And now that I've officially dad joked myself into a hole, I am going to go die in one. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you have any other songs you want me to get to from Honkai, please leave them in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to them. Or if you just like this video for some reason, despite that dad joke, and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!